Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Purpose and Profit. I am joined by the amazing Amy. She is making a huge difference in the space of helping domestic violence and trafficking victims. And not only does she want to grow that, but she's also looking into buying businesses and kind of just growing everything so that one side can help feed the other side and she can help more people. So, welcome to the show, Amy. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. And I know you and I have kind of a connection that we'd like to do similar things and help similar people. So I'm just so excited that we're able to talk about this and talk about how we can help more people.
100%. So tell me a little bit on how you got here.
Absolutely. Um, I'm in Michigan, and about 20 years ago, my husband and I started investing in real estate. We bought a couple short term vacation rentals and we managed those long lines. They were out of state. And after COVID, I have twin daughters that are now 11. They were going through kindergarten at the time, and I was trying to do partial school day at home, partial school day at school, and I just got burned out. I was in a sales role, I was doing recruiting, and although I really did like it, I'd been there for 20 years and I was really burned out. And so, with my husband's support, he's an amazing man. He and I decided that I would quit my job and start flipping houses full time here in Michigan. So, did that for a while. I still do it actually, and we decided to sell one of our vacation rentals, and I did a 1031 exchange and bought a bunch of properties here in Michigan, and now I self manage. And so I've just been able to grow that. And throughout the last few years here in Michigan, I've been able to partner with organizations like Safe House and Safe Place that provide housing for domestic violence victims. They have shelters that are attached to them. They do a lot with trying to help them transition into long term housing, and that's what I've been able to assist with, is providing long-term housing when they come out of those shelters, to give them a place to go. A lot of them are with their children. They've not been working recently. They've been in a bad situation. And so that has really given me, I guess, more of a boost to want to do more and help more. One of our mentors always says, we want to do well so we can do good. And it's true, because without helping other people, it's just action, and it's just, continuing to do the same thing. But when you realize how, housing is a big issue for everybody, but people coming out of those very difficult situations, the trafficking, the domestic violence, they're even in a worse position because they don't have the resources to help people find them. They don't have the support systems a lot of times. A lot of times there's nobody in their lives that help them. And so they're depending on, the help of other people to get them on their feet and know that they can do it and support themselves. So that's what's brought me here today. I joined Sub 2 back in 2022, and then the Mastermind Owners Club, which has been just so amazing. It's helped me think so much bigger and beyond just a couple different rental properties, right? So I would love to start buying businesses here in Michigan. There are a lot of boomers that are getting ready to retire that don't realize that instead of just shutting their business down, they can sell it to somebody. And I would love to be able to do that, and then be able to provide um, work for some of these people that maybe haven't held a job in a long time or need steady employment. There's a lot of things. If a person just takes a chance on somebody, whether it's, working in a laundromat or doing some landscaping or anything like that. Those are skills that, you can pick up very quickly, but also put food on the table. And I think being able to buy companies and then offer employment to some of those people as well would be amazing. And so it can come full circle. And so I grew up very, very poor, and I never was around entrepreneurs. I didn't know I could, buy rental properties or fix and flip properties without a ton of money in the bank. I thought that you had to know somebody or have a lot of money in order to be able to start. And that's simply not the truth. And so getting that knowledge out there too, that anybody can do it. You don't have to have a lot of money. You don't have to have money. You can partner with people that have the funds. You can learn very easily. And that's the one great thing about our country is that nobody is limited. So to give those opportunities and educate other people too really makes me feel good, because I think that's something that we need to hear more of. We are capable. We can do it. Women can do it. It doesn't have to be, you know, a man, a business that is headed by a man. We can do it ourselves. And I think that's what's awesome. My husband has been so supportive of me. I love to be able to show my daughters what we can do. You just have to try. And if you don't succeed the first time, just keep trying. And so that's what's been so amazing, and meeting such amazing people around the country that want to do something similar.
It's so true. And I think that a lot of times, um, and not just women, but moms, I remember like going on interviews and stuff like that and trying to be very cognizant to not mention that I had kids.
Right.
And I want to create spaces where, oh,
What's going on here? Here, I'm going to plug my camera back in, see what's going on. Oh, there I am. Sorry.
no, that's okay.
Live TV.
But I think it's important that people like us create understanding spaces that being mom is a superpower.
Yes.
And you can be a great employee. You can be it is not working.
Sorry, can you still hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, well, that's good. Hopefully, it'll be jumping back on here. Sorry.
No, that's okay. Well, maybe we were not meant to record today. Oh, luckily in our space, we're just used to pivoting and pivoting and pivoting.
Exactly. It's like, you know what? We'll make this work. I'm going to see if I can change my camera. That might help. Let's try that one. It's not as bright, but hopefully it's still okay.
Yeah, no, you look good.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
perfect. Um, so the goal is just providing a space where they feel comfortable to show up as who they are as
Mhm.
moms, as women that are going through hard times. Sometimes when you're leaving these spaces, there's such an emotional toll. And, you know, I remember when I left, there was a lot of mind games and there was a lot of like, I'd be in the middle of the workday and my ex would call me and it would just be this like crazy drama. And it took time for me to realize just, turn off my cell phone or just, and it's this navigating and figuring it out. And thankfully there is a woman there that I worked with that just had grace to love on me and pour in me as I was going through that. And I think that everyone hits lulls, everyone has hard times, but we're talking about an audience of people that, like you said, sometimes they don't have the connection, sometimes they don't have any support. Like
No,
they're isolated from the whole world except maybe their kids who are
and
then
it's
their
a lot of times done by design, so they have nobody purposely. But, so that's very scary.
yes. And so providing, these people, these places that provide the transition, they're doing the best they can, right? And they're trying to to like at the top of the funnel help the most amount of people. And so I think that for you and I and people like us to continue that funnel on, to watch these women transition into, you know, their better selves, their greater selves, so that their kids see it. And what a like, those are generational curse breakings right there, you know.
Totally.
um
Totally.
it is just magnificent. And so, what is your, I know you have big aspirations, and I too believe that in order to help the most amount of people, we have these wild skill sets, and we have this amazing knowledge and community and networks. And we have to use all of that to do really well so that we can pour back into other people. And so what does that look for like for you in the long run?
So, what I would like to do, you touched on something. There's a couple different types of housing, I feel like, for these agencies, these nonprofits. It's transitional housing, but that space seems to be extremely limited as well. So, they have to put limits on how much time a person can actually spend in their shelter. And that's extremely sad. So, if there would be a way I could partner with them to provide transitional housing as well, a safe space as long as they need it so they don't feel like they're getting pushed out at that 90-day mark. I mean, how tragic is that? you know, these children are not safe, these women are not safe. And so you're putting them back into an awful situation. So I would love to be able to provide not only the transitional housing, but then something that goes into the long term housing and possibly some sort of education about what they could do either as an entrepreneur or getting them on their feet with a job, with various businesses that we own. But I think this could really become full circle. It doesn't just have to be the end piece of the housing, it could be helping them and creating awareness that there's places out there that will help these people. So, my father was he was an alcoholic and he was very abusive to my mom. And my mom struggled with some mental health issues. And so she never felt that she could leave because she didn't feel like she could care for us on her own. I know that's what it was. Eventually, she did leave, but if women could understand that there are places out there that can help, that aren't going to judge, that can be anonymous, that you can literally make a call in the middle of the night and somebody will come and get you, or you can go there in the middle of the night and you will be safe. I think getting the awareness out there too of how, number one, that this is not acceptable behavior. And I don't want to say just men are doing it because I know there's abusers across the board, but it's not acceptable to abuse anybody, men, women, or children, and that there is a safe place, and that maybe that even goes a little bit farther that in terms of enacting laws to make sure that people are protected once they do seek shelter somewhere, some stricter laws in place. And I think by raising the awareness, by letting people know that there are places available, I think if we could do that and then show them a path of what they could do to then support themselves. Like you mentioned, people don't have a support system. A lot of times they've been isolated because that is what their abuser has intended. And so they feel like they have no options. And like you said, then breaking the cycle, because if children are grow up in that, a lot of times history will repeat itself. I have been very fortunate. My sisters have been very fortunate to never repeat that process. But that doesn't always happen, and to be able to give people, even if it's just one person at a time, the hope you can get out. You don't have to be subjected to this. Your children don't have to be subjected to this. And here's a path to get you beyond this. I think if we could do that, that would be absolutely amazing, and then more properties to do that with. And eventually we want to create some type of an investment fund where if people don't have the time or the you know know how or don't want to get involved they could get involved more passively if they would want to invest in properties where this is being done, still earn a return on their money, but know that it's going to something good. I would love to be an advocate for that. And that's something that we have in the works that we want to create. And if we could do this more across the country, I think that would be amazing.
Agreed wholeheartedly. And I think that in Owners Club, there's nothing that we could not accomplish.
I agree, 100%. And there's so many people that I feel like this is near and dear to their heart, men and women alike.
Agreed. So if someone wants to support you in your mission, I know you talked about a fund in the future, but if someone wants to support your mission today, what is the best way for them to reach out to you to support you in this?
Yes, absolutely. So I'm going to give you my cell phone number. People can call, text, and I can also give you my social media if anybody wants to follow. My cell phone number is 586-295-7985. And my Instagram is just at Amy Rende, AMYRENDE. And I would be happy to get anybody involved, even just helping and brainstorming. There's so many agencies, I feel like, that are suffering with even relationships with landlords. When I've reached out to them, they're almost seem floored, like, oh my gosh, a landlord wants to work with us. They've gotten kind of shut down, or maybe just some of the landlords that they've talked to haven't been receptive to working with them. And so reaching out to your local organizations, possibly with donations or just seeing what they need most. They will tell you what they need, but a lot of it can be on the housing front. And we're happy to get as many people involved that want to join the cause, because I think it's going to take a lot of people doing, everything across the gamut. So please reach out. There's several of us that are working together that want to continue on this mission. I think it's something that probably hasn't been talked about enough, but everybody understands and knows that it goes on. And so I think increasing the awareness too, even if it's something like, there's a post out there and you share the post about, keeping your eyes and ears open for people that might be in trouble. A lot of times there are warning signs and people don't notice them, which is really, really heartbreaking. But yes, reach out. We would love to get anybody involved in any way, shape, or form. Reaching out to the local agency, seeing what they want, seeing what we can do to raise capital for them, and then also provide the housing. Strategically, where does it need to be located? What would provide the most benefit? We're actually looking at some multifamily properties where they may be able to put the entire property in a transition housing program where they're able to move people in and out as necessary when they come to them, and they can get more permanent housing. So I think there's a lot of things that can be done. It's just a matter of having the right people in place. But yeah, like we said, if you don't have the time, but you do have the money and you want to invest, that's definitely something that a lot of us, are willing to partner on.
Absolutely. Well, Amy, thank you so much today for your time and passion. I
Yes.
appreciate talking to you, and I hope you have a fantastic day.
Yes, you too. Thank you, Amanda, for having me.